Tomorrow's Fed decision is likely going to set the tone for the rest of the year. As inflation cools and comes off of its local top, the Fed seems confident enough to lower rate hike velocity. For now, things seem under control, but only time will tell if the job is done. Today, the S&P 500 is bouncing off of the downward sloping resistance, potentially flipping it into new support, and the Golden Cross seems like it's just days away. It seems like this bullish reversal may have some legs, and this could have a major positive impact on the price of Bitcoin. Yesterday, we talked about the one thing, the only thing the S&P 500 had to do was flip the previous macro resistance into new support, and that's what we've seen happen today. We are getting a bounce off of the exact level that was needed to remain bullish. And as you guys know, what the stock market does is going to affect Bitcoin, which is why we talk about it. We are trying to be informed investors and traders on this channel, so you better pay attention. So this is a huge moment for the stock market, because every other time that the stock market has ran up to a peak before a Fed meeting, the expectation from market participants was that the Fed was going to pivot. You remember that? Remember when everyone said Fed pivot, and that was like the only word that people knew? Well, this time around, it's a little bit different because the market is running up above the trend line, above the resistance line, and the expectation is not a pivot per se, but it's just a reduction in rate hike velocity. So if Powell tomorrow comes out and meets market expectations and we get a 25 basis point hike, that is what the market expected, as opposed to last time when everyone thought they were going to pivot and they didn't, and then we dumped. This time, the market may get what they want, and this could actually be a very bullish event. It's very possible. And so now the market is bouncing off of the macro trend line for the first time in over a year. So this is all very positive. Now, of course, if the Fed comes out tomorrow and says, well, actually, we're going to go with another 50 basis points, okay, then things might just quickly reverse back down and things would get bearish quite quickly as the Fed is doing something that the market didn't want or didn't expect. So let's talk about what we need to look out for Bitcoin, what price levels we're eyeing up, what are the key areas of interest. But before we jump right into that, I just want to mention that the price action that takes place on the day of the Fed meeting can be unreliable. The market usually needs some time to digest all the information. But moving on, let's jump into the Bitcoin chart. So if we look at Bitcoin on the daily, we can see that we're above the macro down trend line. That is very positive. And the volume profile tool is showing us something very interesting. And that is that most of the volume in the area is taking place right below or right at where the FTX collapse began. And that's about 21,500. So when you're looking at this chart, it seems likely that if the price was going to see a pullback and dive into that zone, in between 21,500 and 21,650 is going to be a pretty big area where the market's likely going to try to put in support. I think there's going to be a lot of buyers at that zone, and that's likely going to be an area where a higher low would be put in. Because at the end of the day, what do we need to remain bullish? We just need an uptrend, which is just higher lows. And Bitcoin has made such a tremendous bullish pivot here that it's very likely, it's more than likely that if we dipped, we would just be putting in higher lows on the next dip. And the other thing about the volume profile tool is that above us, the next area of highest volume is coming in at 30,000. So there really is not much stopping the price other than the $25,000 previous top zone. That is definitely an area where the market might find some resistance. But if we get above that, it's likely that the market's going to try to tag somewhere up towards 30,000. So just to recap, the lowest I think we can go is 21,500, somewhere around there, and we probably bounce. And I think that if the market breaks 25,000, we're headed for 30,000. Now, I know a lot of you are probably listening to this saying, wow, Kev has a bullish bias. Well, yeah, I do think that we are shifting into at least a more sideways market, if not a more bullish market for the time being. And a lot of crypto YouTube channels, they'll just sit there and tell you it could go up, it could go down, and a lot of people won't give you a clear idea on what they think. But I'm here to give you guys a clear idea on what I think about the market. So that's what I see. I see an uptrend forming here. Now, the market could, of course, spend a lot of time going sideways above the macro down trend line before catching the needed support for the market to go up. But it's really all up to the stock market. A lot of people always forget that it's not just about Bitcoin. How fast or slow Bitcoin goes from this level is going to have everything to do with the stock market. So here on the screen, you can see these are the key areas. I think the price is going to remain within this zone, what you see on the screen, for the time being. So that's what I'm looking at right now. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Of course, everything can change. And today is the final and last day to get this BitGet offer. Deposit 200, get 20. It's only for you guys on this channel, and it is the final day that this is available. Take it while it's here, and I'll see you guys in the next video.